Hello, YouTube family. Cathy Baumann here. Thank you for joining me for today's clarity video. It's been a super long time since I've made a clarity video, and so I'm excited to catch up with you guys. And having not made a video for a long time, today's topic just seemed like I really wanted to share it here. In this clarity series. And I don't think I've really talked about this before, but today I want to talk about when your energy is chaotic. I just had a truck pull over right in front of my house here, a big chaotic thing happened. So right now it's May 1st, actually, 2023. And it's a time that happens a lot of the time where the energies of the planet are particularly chaotic, and they have been. We've had northern lights, eclipses. I think there's another eclipse in like 4 days. And so we have real high energy times, and everyone takes this differently. And everyone goes through different energy phases at different times, because some of us are up while others of us are down. Some of us are chugging along physically while others of us are not, planetarily, really, within our families, our communities, the whole globe. And so it's really important to allow yourself to be up when you're up and down when you're down, and to let all the energetic changes happen. But it can be kind of a challenge at times to move through. So I wanted to share some stuff today, maybe a couple examples as well, just for anyone who is dealing with this, who may be having a little bit of a struggle, or even just to make it even easier than it already is. So, yeah, I'm not sure how many months it's been since I've made a clarity video, maybe 3 months. Last fall, I had a pretty big shift in energy, and I stopped making videos for a while and became quite physical. Going to the gym every day, something I hadn't done for a decade, playing basketball, racquetball, swimming, just walking. I even ran a few times. It was really weird. And so things shifted energetically. And my whole last many years, I've moved many times, lived different places, worked a lot of different little part-time gigs on the side, like teaching yoga at various places or caregiving. And I can see now the benefit in this has been that my schedule, energy, it's constantly changing. And what it's done is helped release me from these patterns, and also be able to discern what my body wants, the mind, and what's me versus maybe old habits, the ego, even the mass consciousness energies, and to keep choosing what is best for me. And so today I want to talk a lot about this choosing and this discernment. And the choosing really starts with full acceptance. So whatever you're in, wherever, however you're feeling, my favorite word is probably surrender. I use that word on my website a lot. My story of my way to my body really transforming and healing was surrendering everything to myself. But there is a big discernment here, because there are times when we surrender and we just say fine, and we, whether it's letting something go, sleeping all day, whatever it is, we surrender. But then there's also a point of discernment within ourselves when we know something is calling to us, and we step beyond this surrender because it's old energy holding us back. So I want to talk a little bit about that today. So right now, with a lot of the crunchy energies, the high energies, I've experienced this recently. The last month, I was laughing because I feel like I've been just clearing boatloads, but it's just happening throughout everyday life. It's kind of hard to describe, but it's not in the old way of you have to step away from life and you're clearing. You're just living your life and you're still clearing boatloads. And how I perceive that in the physical is my house is, it's like I'm cleaning it, I'm vacuuming it, I scrub the floors, I do the dishes, I do all the laundry, and then that night, everything looks messy again. And for me, this stuff is always somehow reflected in my reality. Whereas when things are settled and we have that longer period of to kind of anchor in at a certain vibration, then everything just seems to be smooth. Like time stands still, maybe for several days or weeks or months or whatever, and like there's nothing going on. So if you have a lot going on right now, you may relate to that and this constant clearing. And that's what I'm finding for myself and for others that are really full on this embodiment pathway or whatever. It's basically like, bring it on, let's go, I'm game. How far can we go in this body, and how much more of myself can I discover? Or you could say, how much more of this made up self can we move out? And of course, all along the way, we recognize traits, words, habits, situations, scenarios that were created more of conditioning, even the thoughts, the stories, right? And so my first thing that I always share here or anywhere is, whatever's going on, to just be in presence 24/7. So no matter how you're feeling, the most divine thing is the presence of God or the universe or your essence, and that handles everything for you. So just staying in your body, in your presence. And my favorite way through that is through feeling, whether it's feeling the breath flow constantly or just feeling that sense of aliveness, of spaciousness, and staying connected to that 24/7, which is super intense at times, because then we're constantly clearing. So when you're going through this really rigorous wash, rinse, repeat, clear, recollect your energy, expand, clear, recollect, expand, and you're just, we'll say, bringing back all those parts home that were off in the past, or parallel realities here, there, other people, situations, places, other lifetimes, dimensions, however you perceive that, bringing back your energy from the outside world. Well, oftentimes we need a lot of personal time, a lot of quiet time. But at the same time, this is a discernment where it goes from this quiet time of sitting, of sleeping, maybe sitting in nature, to taking that out into the world, taking that into activity, to interacting with people, to talking, to sharing, to whatever. And this is where your discernment becomes really important. I would say just for your own enjoyment, if nothing else, because this whole thing is happening for you anyway. You can't not be who you've always been. You couldn't stop this process if you tried. You couldn't not wake up. Like, no, I'm never going to wake up. I'm not going to remember more fully more about myself, whether it's remembering coming here to Earth or, other realities. And truthfully, the way to remember more of that, to see more of that, is to not try to. I have a lot of times people that are like, wow, you remember this or that, or you've seen this or that. And it's usually the very same people, not always, but sometimes that try to go off into these other realms or realities. And you can do that. And that is probably something I played with for a bit, like feeling into different vibratory levels of consciousness, which It's basically different realms, archangelic, or mostly the realms of gold and light, and what it's going to feel like when I leave here, the vibration of myself as the universe, I would say, on this planet. But basically, it's about how my vibration is at that point. And, or you could say the vibration of the body, because you are beyond vibration. You're a presence, right? You don't have a form. But anyway, so the frequencies that you are. So it's really about being fully here and now, and staying in the body, in the breath, whether you're feeling your feet on the earth, your seat on the chair, the breath running through the body. That's something I on and off have really just chosen to do like 24/7. When I started working again, feeling my breath flow through the body, feeling the body move, feeling my feet, staying fully, completely in this body to bring me, the me that is, we'll say, in other dimensions, to bring that here. And then I expand through here and I have awareness of more of that. Rather than going out to find it, you bring it here. So it's just so important to stay in your body. And another thing that I've found with a lot of people I've talked to that like to go off and explore these other realities is physical body issues, right? Like a higher number of pains and breakdowns and trips to the doctor and things like that. Now, I'm not going to say that this is 100% across the board, because generalities don't work here. You might have a certain direction, something you're doing that you're working on that requires you to do something, and then it is appropriate for you. And this is where discernment is key, your own inner knowing and your own discernment of what is best for you. But bringing all of you into this body, if you plan on staying here, if you plan on exploring life, embodying your creator essence, then that's absolutely generally the way to go. So let's take a deep breath together with that and just feel your body. Feel the cells, feel the aliveness within you. Do this all the time. When you take a breath and you feel this aliveness in the cells of your body, it's like joy radiating from every cell, without a word, without a thought, without a reason. You just become a joyful radiance. Okay, we'll move on, because that's that's for our breathe and feel tonight, not for today's chat. But so what to do when the energies are chaotic, you're clearing, you're not sure what to do during these times. Also, it's like you might get intuition to do something and then it goes away. You might try to start something, it doesn't work very good. A lot of people feel this sense of restlessness, but then they don't have the energy to do anything or don't have the gumption to do anything. So I wanted to share a little bit about this because I found this personally, hands down, one of the biggest struggles for me. And hearing a lot of people talk about it, I have a lot of compassion for that. And just ideas to help you navigate it with more fun. First of all, let's start out by tossing out all the rules, like what you should do, shouldn't be doing, what's good, what's bad, the projections of, if I do this, then this is going to happen, this cause and effect thing, which actually we really go beyond that. Or I guess technically it's not even a cause and effect. Source is always spontaneously manifesting, right? It appears as a cause and effect. So if you just strip away whatever you should be doing and take out everybody else's opinion also, so your own mind, and then everyone else, if no other human existed, meaning if no other ego existed, what would I do? And if there's something you want to do it. If it seems like stupid, childish, immature, even better. that means you've probably not been letting yourself live, like, like just, letting that part of you express and be free because you're holding yourself to these man-made rules. So we toss that all out the window. And if there's anything there, start with that. Okay. And it could be going for a trip, buying something weird, going, doing something, and give yourself any gifts that you've been holding back. Now, if you're feeling this restlessness, there's times when you're going to be put in one direction and then in another. You're going to clear everything in every direction. It's not just this way and that way. It's more like this way, that way, this way, that way, in, out, inside, in every direction about every topic and every subject. So any place where you've been living in patterns, expect that you are going to be taken there to clear it out. So if you're not feeling motivated, what feels good? Do you feel like laying on the couch and watching TV, watching YouTube? I don't know, sitting out in your yard and watching the birds all day, doing nothing, then just do it. If it really, really feels good, then do it. Now, hopefully there's enough, we'll say, logic or common sense here as I share this, that, your house isn't like on fire while you're sitting on your yard, you're just ignoring it, that you have not had blinders on about your life situations, that you have looked at everything with open eyes. You know where everything is at in your life, your finances, your relationships, your house, and if you are somebody who's been, we'll say, living in a bit of denial or hiding or secretiveness from yourself, then that restlessness is something you can use to take care of business. And this is where discernment comes from. So for years and years, I would sit and try to integrate. And, probably one of my last videos that I made here was about feeling this crunchy stuff and breathing with it and not using drugs, alcohol, people, seeking attention, romantic relationships, whatever, going off into your mind, not using other things to try to avoid these deep feelings in here. So I'm going to basically kind of go the opposite direction today. And it's not opposite, it's actually all inclusive. But it's important that we deal with everything. We're available to feel what comes up. We are aware of what's in our life, right? The relationships, how people are acting, how do they treat us? Do they treat us with love? Are they coming, and not from a judgment standpoint, not that you're going to walk away from people, but really, okay, so maybe this person is manipulative. Okay, great. I love you anyway. But being eyes wide open, honest about where everyone's at in their consciousness, their intent, what they're maybe seeking from us. And as we're available to look at everything, okay, here's my bank account, okay, my garage is all swept out, everything's neatly organized. I got a little bag of donations for Goodwill or whatever. Closet's cleaned. As everything has been taken account of, as you're aware of everything in your reality, it's like you could say your house is clean and it's very comfortable to be in awareness of other people, of their drama at times, density, projections, because you're seeing it with clear eyes. And this is where we choose to see everything with love. See the beauty in everything, you could say. And make conscious choices that are discerning of what we want to keep in our reality and what we don't. I haven't worn this shirt in 3 years, even though it's brand new and it's really pretty. I just hate how it feels when I put it on. Okay, let's get rid of it. Okay. So that's where we start making choices. And this is where I say this inner friction. This is where we start shifting this inner friction. because so many folks get kind of caught in between this, going from neutrality to action. Call it allowing, if you want, surrendering, acceptance, into making choices, taking steps, and taking action. So by all means, lay on the couch as long as you want to. I spent most of a decade with, probably 12 to 22 hours a day sleeping and a lot of couch time. So that's great. But we continue to clear our reality as we're doing that and choosing, I would say, love over fear, what feels good over what doesn't feel good anymore. So when we start feeling this restlessness, it's like it's time to do something. It's time to create. And if we've been available to feel what we need to feel, so we've been feeling all this stuff, density, emotion, at some point, we actually have this discernment that it is time to take action. It doesn't mean that all of that stuff is gone. That the wonky feelings are gone. It's just we hit a certain point where we go, okay, I'm feeling this restlessness. There's more to life. There's something more I can contribute, you could say, to the world. And that might be serving coffee at the coffee shop. That might be, I don't know, just going to the gym and talking to people and chatting. You're contributing to the world. You're out and about within it. It could be a job. It could be creating something, whatever it is, calling friends. But this is where I've found time and again, a pivotal point for me to step beyond. And at times I would wonder, like, well, now am I forcing something? It doesn't seem to be flowing super easy. Maybe I'm trying to push myself. Maybe I should sit and breathe with this. And again, and again, and again. It's like you're trying to force an integration. It's like now, instead of your focus being living life, your focus has been like integrate, integrate, integrate. As soon as I'm done with this, I can live my life. As soon as I'm done with this, I can live my life. And I have gone around in that circle many times until the light bulb came on and I went, I think I just need to step beyond this and start living. And then all this stuff will catch up with me. So I like to ask myself, hey, what would we like? What sounds like fun? Show me what I would really enjoy. I'm always asking, show me more beyond what I've already learned, beyond what I've experienced in a body, because there's more to experience than what I have. So I don't want to be going back always into old file cabinets in my memory and trying to pull something out. Some always show me what I'd really enjoy. Show me what would bring more love into my life. Show me what would feel good. Show me how I can be the benevolent, natural, innate love that I am more through this human form. Like, what more can I do, share, express? Even if that's cooking myself a meal, even if that doesn't involve other people, it could be walking down the trail, saying hi to the birds. So show me more of what I would really, really enjoy and bring it on, just bring it, go ahead, let the phone ring or whatever. From here, it really is where we just start discerning and stepping beyond. I'm going to share one story too. About a couple years ago, I had a big shift energetically. So we'll take a breath here and I'm going to share this story. So, physical body is our vessel, our portal. This is just the vehicle for our life, for our essence. And it has nothing to do with me. I inherited this thing. It's got genetics, and the body's name is Cathy. My name isn't Cathy, right? And the mind. And at one point, we thought we were like the body and the mind. And even for folks who are awake, oftentimes they're still very tightly intermeshed in identification with the body and the mind. And rather than this awareness that comes through it, which is not Cathy, it's not your name, your body's name. So a couple years ago, I was going through, I've gone through a lot of this resistance where it's like I would feel almost like restless, okay, I'm gonna lay down and breathe, or I'm gonna watch maybe William Linville or the Crimson Circle, my two main things over the last decade. And I would breathe and feel, but it was just like I can't sit here anymore. Like, but it was like I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to do anything. There's this, like, I kind of call it like physical purgatory thing where you aren't feeling totally content sitting, not moving, and you don't know what to do. You don't want to do anything. There's nothing to do. Nothing's presenting. You have no ideas. And I know a lot of folks that have gone through this and felt like, what the hell am I supposed to be doing? And I actually have many journal pages that say what to do, what to do. And it became kind of a joke of mine. Here we are again. What are we doing today? Anyway, hello self. Are you there? Right? Like, what are we doing? Why do I have this body? There must be something more to do in this life. And then, of course, I highly encourage you. I say, well, how can I be loved then? Maybe I get on Facebook and admire some people's posts and pictures and spread some love, not because I really give a shit what other people think about me, not because I'm afraid if I don't, they're not going to like me, just because it feels good to be the love that you are. It feels good um, to be kind and to be the light on the planet. Not because we have to, but because we can, and it feels good. It's naturally like a immediate response that tells you, oh yeah, this is in alignment with or what I really am. So at this time, I was like, in my original, we'll say, initial realization awakening time, I was bedridden for like 2 years, and it was pretty wild. And actually, I spent the better part of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years in bed, not really functioning much. And a lot of that had to do with detoxing from antidepressants, bipolar meds, ADD meds, anti-anxiety meds, alcohol, weed, like all the stuff that I had been using to suppress all of the emotions and all the feelings. And so that resulted, I was tested for a number of autoimmune diseases, but I guess people call it burnout. I was burnt out and had zero physical energy and slept 22 hours a day easily. Once I finally surrendered, it was like slept for 2 years straight, pretty much. Very, very little human activity. And so that kind of carried on for the last decade. And really the last year or two, it's like all this physical energy, all of this, especially the last year, ability to act and do and be and talk, like the mind really coming back online to where I felt and was pretty much mindless for so long. And then it's like, I can be on time. I can remember dates, places, times, which I couldn't for a long time. And that could go again. I don't know. There seems to be rounds and rounds and rounds of things that it's like it comes back and then it goes away. It comes back and it goes away, which dissolves all the control factors of the ego. So each time, something comes back, I go, oh, this is my new normal. And then, a month or 6 months later, it's gone again. And I can't seem to quite function that way. I know this is because there's a little attachment that grows to it, or there's still some attachment that was in the background and it needs to go. It needs to go for my own freedom. So around this time, a couple years ago, I was starting to really notice how the mind was going like, I don't want to, whether it was clean the house, go teach yoga, maybe when I was caregiving, go every other weekend, I would go do a caregiving job for 2 days. And it's just like, oh my God, how are we ever going to get off the couch? It was like this projection of like, oh my God, there's this big mountain to climb, right? To just get up and get in the shower and get in the car. And I started noticing how the body would feel. So the mind was saying, I don't want to, I'm tired. How am I ever going to make it? And my body was just vibrating so fast. So I started to look at how the mind was projecting and the energy that was being projected onto me, onto the body. And then I started to feel the body and say, body, show me how you feel. And I'd get up and take a shower and I'd be dancing, dance for an hour. I'd be sweating. I'd go to work. I'd have endless energy. I'd come home, still have more energy. And so I started to realize that this old program was just being projected forward, which pretty much happens with everything. This was a real definitive thing because I could see it so clearly, and it was like night and day, and it affected my life so much. So for anybody who had a rough awakening, who experienced being down and out, who was feeling like they couldn't function, it takes the mind a while to burn off all that old emotional energy. These constructs are loaded with emotions. And even as your body starts to transform, the mind keeps, it's just like that momentum has to like wear out. So it's really important to pay attention. How does your body feel? And say, body, you show me, hey, body. The mind is no longer your master. In fact, the mind no longer affects you. The mind, you don't get to project things onto the body. That is not your job. Your job is to be the translator of what the body is asking me for. So rather than you taking the beliefs and all the stuff in the old file cabinet and then throwing it onto the body, if you eat this, you're going to feel like that, or if you sleep like this, you're going to feel like that, or whatever. No, let's delete all that. Poof, be gone. I'm done with it. And then now we're going to reverse that, where body, send the information to the mind, and mind, your job is to relay to me what the body's feeling like. And as we have that, we'll say intent, we command that to the body, because the body is your best friend. It's your tool. We command that to the mind. We become clear now that we're rewriting our relationship with all concerned, and your body's always going to serve you. It's like the placebo effect. If you believe everything you hear about food, about this, about that, your body's going to reflect that. But this is where we say, no beliefs. I delete all the beliefs, everything I've ever believed from first separation till now. I just delete it all, toss it all out. And now, body, show me what you're capable of, what your like real capability is beyond that. So let's take a big breath for our bodies with that, because your body has so much more to show you. Your body is amazing. Nothing need apply. Let's let the body be the decider, and let's not make any conclusions. If something happens once, great. Well, what's going to happen next time? We're constantly evolving through the physical. So this is where the discernment happens. And going back to breathing and feeling and trying to integrate versus just saying, this restlessness, I think this is actually me. Oh my God, I've been trying to dissolve the restlessness rather than move with it. And sometimes it is beneficial to sit with it and let it dissolve. That is also, one doesn't negate the other. Saying that one way is good doesn't mean the other way isn't. They actually both serve at different times. And that's why your own discernment is always, always key. The more we connect here and start to get our clear answers. And for myself, I muscle test all the time. I muscle test stuff every day because I want to absolute yes or no, what's in my highest and best good. So if you don't muscle test already, I mean, I don't know how you're getting your answers, but when it comes to making a clear decision on what's going to best support my mind and body, there's times that the ego's still projecting, I want this or I want that. And then I muscle test it. My body's like, nope, that's not coming from me. Mm-mm. So getting that clear discernment within yourself is always key because yes, sometimes we got to sit, feel it, breathe with it. But then of course there's times we need a break. Or once again, you hit a point where it's time to just run forth. Something's presenting. And if nothing is presenting, what do we do then? Because that happens a lot. So what I like to do, because I've gone through these waves now of creativity and no creativity. I'll give one more example about the energies. I'm going to say they are chaotic this way, that way, this way, that way, this way, that way, every which way to clear everything out in the giant spectrum of everything you've ever experienced and every belief you've ever created. So last, I don't know, year or two ago, whatever time, right? So a while back, a couple years ago, when I started making the audio meditations that I make, it was a very clear download for me to make 2 a week and what to charge and how to put it on my website. How cool is that? You just get this blueprint and it's like, this? What? Really? I don't want to make 2 a week. I don't want to do this. I think we should charge more. That was my human self but I said, okay, fine. I'll trust myself. I'll surrender to myself because I was also shown or given a heads up. Hey, this is really going to help you, help your expression. You're going to learn how to do this. You're going to get out of that energetic rut where you haven't been very creative. So I could see the real benefits in it, even though there were these old aspects that didn't really want to do it. So it was one of those buck up and do it situations. Now, this doesn't sound like surrender, does it? But I was surrendering to myself, my voice, the direction really coming from me, from my creator self that was saying, hey, this is really going to benefit you. And I went, okay, let's do it. And the first days and weeks, it was like, this sucks. I don't have the right equipment. I don't have the right setup. Nothing was working. I was frustrated. And it was like, there's this little egoic trick that's like, things aren't flowing. Maybe now is not the right time, Oh, it should flow like magic all the time, or it's just the timing must not be right. And I was like, I don't know. I think that's a trick. I think that I just need to walk through this. When you're breaking old patterns, when you know there's something that you want to create, when you know this is the direction I'm going, I know this is coming from me, and you walk that way, it's not uncommon to hit some old energy barriers. Emotions bubble up. Something goes wrong. Something breaks. Big truck breaks down in front of your window or whatever it is. And it's like, so this little ego monger comes over here. See, you should just do nothing, like go back to your old pattern. But when you just walk through it and you're like, well, what's the worst that could happen? I was going to keep walking through it. And it feels almost like you're fighting the energy. So I would say the ego, I don't even like to say my ego, the ego would be like, oh, like, are you fighting the energy to have you doubt yourself? But you just keep walking through saying, well, this is not that big of a deal to like make this recording, to edit it and to put it online. And the ego will feed you big stories like, oh, now's not the right time or whatever. And it sort of blows everything into some big, like, who really cares? I made some meditations. I put them on Insight Timer. Whoop-de-doo, And I would always hear the song, The Remedy is the Experience by Jason Mraz playing in my head. The remedy is the experience, that it was about the experience of walking through it. So I had that with a number of my creations at that time, things that I was encouraged to create the Everyday Life as Creator came as a download, and I went, what? That's not all what I had in mind. But it was like, okay, can I just say yes and do it and be fearless and not care how it turns out and not have to have an agenda and all that kind of stuff? So in that case, you just keep walking. You just keep walking through it. It's mind over matter. It's like all these distractions coming at you. And I had that very much when I started teaching yoga, and especially when I started really opening up intuitively. It would be like voices and thoughts and people's energies. And you just like cut through it. You just say, I'm doing it. I'm the master here, right? Like that's it. And there's a there's a distinction that wants to come through right now. I'm sort of being asked to share with you guys. It's like some of you might feel in those moments like, this isn't my essence. It's not very feminine. It doesn't feel all light and fluffy and sweet and beautiful. And like, it feels kind of harsh because you sort of cut through it. You sort of power through it. You feel very, at times, like clunky, like you're trudging through mud because you're breaking through some of those old kind of like energy barriers. And it's messy. It feels messy and clunky and disheveled and chaotic. So don't be fooled that that's bad. This is kind of where we embrace our humanness, call it more of the masculine energy, and you slog through it and you just get her done. So a lot of times there's a relationship that people have conceptually that as we become all spiritual, it's all going to be like all this kind of fluffy feminine energy. But then you're rejecting all of the humanness, all of the masculineness. And even there's parts of us that are kind of carnal and primal and maybe they're a little bit rebellious or whatever, that also can be used as we move through these things. Not identified with, not as though they are us, but the energies that they've carried in that big spectrum of everything that is, they help propel us. And as we're aware that they're not us, but we appreciate them, that's when they integrate. So I'm going to finish my story now. So I had all this stuff and I just had to get up every day. I didn't have to, but I had to because I decided I wanted to. I made myself a schedule, which was very, very weird for me after about a decade, just living on love, floating with the wind. And it was like, get up, breathe, do some yoga, coffee, journal, Facebook, emails, shower, work. So I would be at my little work table, ready to create something. And I'd be like, oh, bring it on. What are we creating today? And it actually flowed like magic. I have 200 YouTube videos and none of those were like really a job. They were my joy to create. They were fun. It was like, I can't believe I get to do this. This is great. It was so easy. Dun, dun, dun. Now back to that chaos energy. As you fast forward now, I have been, as I mentioned, not making videos. I have not been making much creatively other than my live events. And so the mind, who loves its patterns, is like, what are we doing? We should make some videos. We got to make something. It sort of got into this pattern of always creating something and putting something out. And whenever I would tune into it or feel into it, or even try to make something, I tried to make another audio yesterday. It just wasn't really flowing good. And then I was asking myself, what should we do? Muscle testing also. And it's like, have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun, have fun. That's been my direction from self consistently the last month or two. And as I mentioned in the beginning, it's been like clearing. Dream times, crazy, nutty, things, you guys know it's like when you're clearing all the time, you have random sobs throughout the day. Like your best friends all just died and you cry for 20 seconds and it's gone and you don't even know what just happened and you just keep walking along. It's very like um, nonsensical, it's illogical. It's like you can't even keep track of it all. And this is where surrender is really important. You just let it flow. You just keep letting it flow. Stay in presence, stay in breath. Nothing you need to do. It's all being done for you. Hand it over to yourself and say, all right, whatever, throw your hands in the air, wave them around like you just don't care, and just whatever. You celebrate it because you know that something big's happening, right? But as I tried to work or create new things or make maybe an audio course, it's like there's nothing there. And I'm reflecting back to a couple years ago. I'm like, everything just flowed so easy. It's like I couldn't even hardly slow down. The stuff just was flowing out with no effort. So what is this? Why is it like this? And what do we do about it? Well, the first part was about walking through that sludge, the fears, the insecurities of being on video, of putting yourself out there. Like, oh my God, the world. How many of you want to hide or don't want to be public, right? Like, I think we all have that. I have no desire to be famous or have accumulate followers. The people that enjoy my videos, I'll say more of an intimate heart connection thing, that feel the energy behind it, feel the consciousness of it, and that it truly benefits them. I don't care if it's 5 people, 1 person for that matter, or 1,000. If it's 1 person that says, wow, that really helped. Awesome. So that's what that time was about. And now it's like everything has flipped. And the flipping has to do with now the mind is like, we got to create something. We got to create something. We got this momentum. We got to keep going with it. And it's like, just have fun. That's all I keep hearing. Have fun. Go to the casino. Why don't you go for a walk on the trail, travel? And so I'm being encouraged now to let it go, because as soon as it starts picking up momentum, oftentimes the ego comes around here and goes, oh, now, I want to take credit for this. This is great. And just the act of not being able to easily create, not having that flow, that creative flow, it brings up any sense of attachment with it, because having that consistent creative flow is beautiful. But for the survival levels, it sort of, it really helps them feel more safe, safety, security, control, like they're in control of creating. And by they, I just mean any of the constructs, the emotional constructs that are still in our consciousness. And it doesn't mean that we don't create either. Even though they're there, you can feel sometimes these energetic constructs. They're like, oh, goody, I'm making something good, or they're like, you suck, whichever. Usually it's one or the other. You don't let them stop you per se, but we are guided into all different directions, over here, over there, over here, over there, back and forth, to clear them all out, to bring them up, to poke the beast, if you will. And then likewise, I had gotten very comfortable in my meditative state, the non-physical, the very ethereal realm. And so the last 6 months, especially, being really much more physical, it felt very foreign in a way. It felt kind of harsh, kind of masculine. I didn't feel as, we'll say, ungrounded, floaty, or to some extent, I questioned, am I feeling less connected? Right? Because you are then shifting, you're opening up your ability to be, we'll say, in all worlds, rather than, okay, I'm over here in this ethereal state because I've been sequestered from the rest of society. Now it's like really getting physical with it and merging all that together. So temporarily, each time we go this way, that way, and we shift and shift and shift and shift into a new way of being, way of living, new experiences, we temporarily typically feel questionable, right? Like it brings up some doubt, some fear, some discomfort, and that's just temporary. So it really is, again, about the discernment, about what to do. And I will wrap this up. This ended up being a whole hour, making up for lost time, apparently. But very practically speaking, let's get practical on this, because we have a body and we're meant to enjoy life while we're here, no matter what you perceive your personal, unique contribution to this whole awakening that's going on globally. You might be someone who resonates with doing the majority of your work in the other realms, that you're more of an energy holder, space holder. I know personally over the last many years, I'm aware that I'm a stabilizer, an amplifier and a stabilizer, just when I feel myself expand through large areas of the planetary matrix. Oftentimes when there's storms, I'm more feeling how my energy is helping to stabilize things. My mind cannot write a book on this, and nor would I ever try to define it and box it in, because you can't capture it all through the mind. For those that do, great. We try to put words around this, but I don't bother trying to really break it down, define it, things like that. It's more about being in presence and an awareness of what is, and letting it constantly change, letting ourselves constantly move through each change with flexibility, that saying yes to everything, saying yes to what is, working with what is in a relationship with your body, your mind, your home, other people, your jobs, and finding ways to really harmonize with everything. I think that's important. So what I like to do, though, very practically speaking, is when these creativities are not flowing, and for anyone who's coming out of a long slumber, like I did 2 years ago, I sat down and I made a list of everything I could think of that I would like to do. And it was a pretty long list, and it was hard because I had so long not wanting to do anything that it was like drawing a blank. Like, if there's anything I've ever really wanted to do, I've done it. But, for me, it was going out to a lot of state parks, a lot of local parks, trails, wildlife sanctuary, getting a massage, getting a pedicure, just dumb stuff, going to the thrift store, going to the mall, like anything I could think of. I just put it on a list so that I would have something handy and I could just kind of go down it and maybe let one jump out at me. Now, I could sit here and say, let it come to you, Om. Yeah, well, sometimes we have to bridge the gap with our mind and get the ball rolling to get our energy moving. If you've been feeling stuck energy, if you've been kind of in that rut of not doing something for a while, I found that I had to really get the ball rolling, take matters into my own hands, quite literally, and make a list. From there, I started just doing things on days that I felt. I put that list out and said, hey, guys, myself, my higher levels, my multidimensional, whatever, higher, more expansive states of consciousness of myself or my team. Let me know. Give me some ideas if there's something good. And every now and then I'd get like a random idea, just completely random. And quite often I'd be like, I don't want to do that. And then I'd be like, oh, that means it's definitely not coming from my mind. Let's go. Hop in the car and hit it. When that doesn't happen, or when we're especially maybe still a little bit tired, going through a lot of clearing, we're not feeling that inspired to do anything. From there, it's like, what can we do? It's really, 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 really about making the best with what we have, with our environment right now. That might be movie nights, popcorn, pizza, ice cream, that might be it for you. It's totally unique. For myself, I find then when these times hit, what I love to do is get my to-do list done, mop the floors, bring out all the garbage, stock the pantry, stock the fridge, get all the to-dos done that I can do, because then I'm like ready. Every time the next wave of creativity hits, I'm just sitting there waiting for it with my feet up because I've done everything that needs to be done. You could say, instead of waiting always for the inspiration to come to me now, and it is an energy shift, and I'm not saying that anybody who's not feeling it should feel like they have to push themselves through it. If you feel to rest, rest. If you want to sleep 22 hours a day, do it. Do it as long as it feels good. If you want alone time, take alone time as long as you feel like you want the alone time. I have absolutely done that. So it's not to negate this. But when you get that restless and you just feel like you're ready to live life and you want more, you start moving the energy. You say, I know I'm heading in this direction. I know whatever direction I'm heading in, if I get all my house cleaned up, then I'm just ready to quantum leap as soon as that doorway appears. So that's where you can start moving the energy and, do it in anticipation of what's to come. Of course, always do it in presence, but as you're doing it, you know that like you're available to life. You're alive, you're living, you're moving the energy, you're ready for the next thing. And it just has really helped the flow for me personally of everything to keep moving. Plus, there's nothing better than the feeling of like today by, I don't know, 8 or 9 a.m., I had my whole house cleaned, a roast in the crock pot, and I was showered and dressed and sitting on my couch like, what are we going to do today? So it's really wonderful. It's a wonderful feeling to just have everything done. And then at least hopefully that restlessness or whatever you're feeling, you can kind of relax. And it is to enjoy the human tendencies, the human responses, the energetic reactions, like such as satisfaction, the feeling of success of a job well done. My house doesn't represent me. It doesn't define me. I am not my home. I'm not identified with it as a real extension of myself, as some people kind of say. Yet, I can enjoy the sense of success after cleaning it up. If you come to my house and it's a dirty mess, I don't care. It doesn't say anything bad about me. I'm not going to feel bad about it, but I can still enjoy the best of the best of the best. So, a lot of this discernment today also goes into embracing your humanness, embracing the human things that feel good without identifying with them, without letting them dictate how you feel, but enjoying what you do feel, if that makes sense. So the cleanliness of my house doesn't dictate how I feel, but in creating something, I can sit back and savor the sense of satisfaction. It has nothing to do with me because I'm not an energy, I'm an essence, but I can enjoy the energies here. And that goes into choosing to start creating, to start moving energy, to doing things that feel good, even if it's just doing the dishes and then giving yourself a pat on the back. So we'll close. Thank you for joining me. If you listened to this entire video, boy, this is basically a whole webcast today. So it must be a big topic. a lot. There's a lot more that could be said on the topic as well. But let's wrap it up with the most important things. So take a deep breath, come back into your presence, into your heart. Feeling that sense, that knowingness within you that all is well. Again, there's nothing you could do to not be yourself. So there's no sense of worry or fear of anything ever being taken from you, because all that is true and everlasting is you, your essence, your presence, you as consciousness. And that can never be threatened or harmed or taken. So you've got it made. And then take another breath and just feel the love that you are. Your essence could be called love, pure love. And nothing can take that away. So any stories of the mind, any judgment or criticisms or critiques about what you are doing, what you look like, what you're doing, what your life looks like, your bank account, your activities, any expectations of what this life should have been, that's all stories, that's all concepts. Everything right now is in divine alignment, in divine perfection. It's really for you to flow with it, to harmonize with it, to enjoy it. And at times, taking that crunchy energy and stepping up and stepping through some of those barriers and enjoy it. Swear, spit, swear, grit your teeth a little bit, rah, rah, have some fun with it. And if you're not feeling like a lot of fun right now, then give yourself whatever love, whatever care, whether it's sleeping, whether it's a massage, whether it's a pedicure, whatever it is that will be embracing and loving for you, because you deserve to be loved and embraced always, supported completely, and open up and let the support come into you. If it's being offered, say yes. If ideas are coming for things you could do, just do it. Don't worry about the small details, but choose what feels loving and supportive for you. So it is such a discerning dance from facing, looking at, being aware of everything. There's all these little secrets that like to kind of hide. So we go to where the secrets all become revealed and we can see everything. Oh my God, our own manipulation, other people's energy manipulation, et cetera, et cetera. And yet you just look beyond that and see the light, and everyone is the same. And all this is man-made. It's all made up. It's all temporary. It's not real. It's not who we really are. What's going on in the world? 100 years from now, it'll be a totally different mess. And it's just going to continue to evolve. And you need not let it affect you. You need not give your power away to anything in the outside world, your joy, your sense of well-being. So for some, harmonizing with the world might mean pulling away. For some, it might mean jumping in and having fun and laughing in the face of maybe other people's energies are more gloom and doom. Yeah, well, that has nothing to do with me. Live and let live. You have your perspective, but not letting the world, we'll say, start to affect your energy, how you feel about yourself, your sense of lovability, because you are love. So thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.